about that. Normally people tell me I'm too loud. Kayla is a senior at the University of Minnesota Duluth, and Jake attends Bemidji State University. Laura is a 7th grader at Wadena Deer Creek Middle School, High School. First of all, I want to thank everyone involved in organizing and participating in this amazing event, Relay for Life. I also want to thank you for allowing me to share our journey tonight. I'm honored to be here. When I was asked to share our story regarding what it was like to be a caregiver for our son who was diagnosed with cancer, I reflected on the last 10 months and came up with 2 words: community and gratitude. I want to preface our story with some background information. Our children have always been involved in a variety of activities, such as hockey, football, volleyball, cheerleading, softball, dance, golf, and baseball. We are used to running in all different kinds of directions to attend these different events and support our kids. After our oldest daughter, Kayla, graduated in 2010, I thought, whew, my schedule just got cut in half. When Jake graduated in 2013, I thought, now what am I going to do with my Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays? We were down to only dance on Mondays. I was really sad about my lack of activities. I love to watch our kids compete. My husband and I grew up involved in sports and feel that it teaches valuable life lessons and develops important skills like teamwork, loyalty, respect, perseverance, trust, accountability, and endurance. All of these skills are valuable when facing some of life's challenges. Previously, I mentioned that I love to watch our kids compete. I don't just mean our biological children. Teammates of our children were considered my kids, and their families are like family members to us. I would often refer to them as our hockey family, our football family, or our baseball family. Lifelong friendships developed over the years, and for that I am forever grateful. They, along with our extended and immediate family members, became the best support system we could ever ask for. When your child graduates and is about ready to enter the real world, whether it be college or the workforce, you are sad and excited. Sad that they suddenly grew up and you just weren't ready for that, and excited for them because their whole future lies in front of them. Last summer, we were preparing ourselves for child number 2, Jake, to leave home and begin his future at Bemidji State University. We were thrilled, and he was invited to play football for them while receiving a college education. Secretly, I thought, hooray, a new football family. This is going to be awesome. We moved him up there in the middle of August to begin football camp. I should also note that to add to my emotional struggle of having another child move away from home, I managed to injure my shoulder bad enough to warrant surgery and be off work for at least 3 months. Hindsight makes me wonder, did things really happen for a reason? A new journey began. Everyone was back at school. I was laid up at home, relying on my family to care for me. We would go to Bemidji on the weekends when they had a home game to see Jake. He only dressed for home games as he was a redshirt freshman. During our visits, Jake began to tell us about how hard it was to sleep in the dorm. We thought, well, that's understandable. He's a 260-pound, 6'3" young man sleeping in a twin bed lofted in the air. He said it wasn't about the size of the bed, rather he would wake up drenched in sweat. Again, we thought, understandable. It's 90+ degrees in an unair-conditioned dorm room. We told him to put his fan in the window and it would start to cool off pretty soon. On another visit, Jake mentioned he felt a lump at the right side of the base of his neck. He showed it to their trainer, who thought it might be in a large lymph node and that he might be fighting off some sort of infection, or maybe he bumped it during practice. It didn't hurt, so we thought, well, we'll just keep an eye on it. Toward the end of September, Jake told us he thought he had a 24-hour flu bug. He had a fever, he had thrown up a couple times, but he felt better. Practice was going well, and so were his classes. During our visits, we also noticed that Jake itched his legs a lot. He said they itched all the time, along with his arms and his hands, and he didn't know why. Having a history of allergies in the fall, we thought it could be a variety of things like the field turf, different water, anything. In early October, Jake came home for the weekend. still sweating at night, still itching, and still have the lump. I made an appointment with his doctor on Monday morning. We discussed his allergy history and thought the itching might be due to the detergent the university was using to wash his practice gear. We instructed him to take his allergy medicine and wash his own gear to see if that helps. 10 days later, Jake came home. The symptoms were the same and some were worse. He had a temperature of 102. A series of tests began and ended up with the removal of the lymph node at the base of his neck. I want to thank Drs. Davis and Van Bruggen, along with Bob Davis and the operating room staff at Tri-County Healthcare. They followed the criteria to the letter until we reached the correct diagnosis. The one that was at the bottom of the list. The one I couldn't allow myself to say out loud. Hodgkin's lymphoma. Cancer. How do you tell your child he has cancer? I couldn't even comprehend it myself. I didn't know any other way to tell him other than to just say, "I'm sorry, it's Hodgkin's lymphoma." To which he responded, "Is that cancer?" And as our eyes began to overflow with tears, all I could do was nod my head yes. The only way I can describe my actions from that point forward is survival mode. We contacted family and friends, and Jake decided to put his game face on and let his friends know via social media. After all, he's a teenager, and that's how they communicate. I think he had an idea of what was to come, because he made me take a picture of him in the hospital after the lymph node surgery. He attached a message to that picture and said something like this: "Cancer fight, day 1. His support was overwhelming. He's always been a tough kid, but all of the thoughts, prayers, messages from friends and family helped him get through the rough days ahead. Shortly after Jake's diagnosis, his baseball coach came over and shared his story with us. He was also diagnosed with cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, when he was a teenager. He was a valuable support for Jake as he experienced some of the same things firsthand. He did not only give great advice, but he gave us hope. Thank you, Kyle Dykoff and our baseball family. Even though Jake used social media as his way of letting friends know, I'm a little old school and felt that I needed to call or write close family and friends if possible. I refrained from putting anything on Facebook as that was my only form of social media. To me, Facebook was for fun events, pictures, good news, not this. With family and friends all over the country, emailing and or calling them became very time-consuming as well as emotionally draining. Then I was contacted by a wonderful person that our community is blessed to have. Her name is Jill Feemeyer, also known as Mother of Jane, the Princess Warrior, and Anna and Katie Ray. She offered her support as a mom who understood the journey we were about to embark upon, and she had a care package for Jake for the first day of chemo. We met with Jill, and she asked us if she could take a picture and share it on the Princess Warrior Foundation Facebook page. I said, sure. Little did I know that that photo would result in the greatest feeling of peace I have ever experienced. Jake started chemo on November 4th, 2013 in Fergus Falls. Future chemo appointments would take place at Tri-County Healthcare, and I am very grateful to have that facility available to us, especially when the lab work doesn't cooperate. It saved us many miles and was nice to be in our hometown where we knew the staff. In the car, on our way to Fergus Falls, my phone started buzzing non-stop. Jill had posted the picture of Jake and I on Facebook to wish him good luck and best wishes in defeating his cancer bully. As I looked at that post, my eyes filled with tears at the number of likes and comments in support of our son. Well over 500 in a matter of minutes. I had this overwhelming sense of love and peace come over me. Everything was going to be all right. Thank you, Jill and the Princess Warrior Foundation. Since the social media cat was out of the bag, I decided that this, in fact, was the best way for me to share progress and updates about our journey. Relating back on our sports background, I chose to begin updates with Team Jake and called chemo days game days. I also chose to wear my Wolverine or my BSU sweatshirt just like I did when I went to games to cheer Jake on. It's not really in my nature to dwell on the negative. I tried to keep all posts and updates positive and informative, and I prayed a lot for strength for my whole family. Faith is a wonderful gift. Some days we're hard to get him to go, but we just had to keep focusing on the goal and started to count down. This was just another competition, and we were going in it with a winning attitude. He knew he wouldn't feel well for a few days after chemo, but we learned along the way how to offset the worst of the side effects. He also learned how to eliminate certain foods from his diet by eating them on the days of chemo. It was guaranteed that he would never want to eat them again. I'm grateful for his sense of humor and his calm demeanor. If he complained about something, I knew it was bad. Well, here we are, 10 months later on our journey. Jake finished chemo treatments on his online classes at BSU for spring semester on the same day, April 30th, 2014. His PET scan in May came back negative. And he had his port removed in May, and he began playing baseball again for the Legion team and his amateur team, the Shockers. Last week we moved Jake back to Bemidji, where he will begin football camp again, this time stronger physically. And by the way, I forgot to mention he grew 1.5 inches and he gained 30 pounds over his whole ordeal. He became stronger mentally and also in his faith. Great things are yet to come, and we are eternally grateful to everyone who walked on this journey with us. Never underestimate the power of prayer. And never underestimate what you are capable of doing. One of the quotes that I relied heavily on goes like this: if God brings you to it, he will see you through it. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.